Good morning, everyone, and it is indeed, I must say, a pleasure to be here in your midst this morning, and more importantly, to be a part of this CTO State of the Industry conference, where we, as regional leaders in tourism, are seeking to ensure the viability, sustainability of our tourism product and to remain competitive globally, as tourism is indeed our main industry and it's our main business. In Turks and Caicos, that is no exception. I, for one, can state that Turks and Caicos, about 50% of our GDP is from tourism and tourism-related businesses in Turks and Caicos. We have been grateful in blessed in coming out of the recent recession, and now enjoying a significant increase in tourist arrival in our destination and the revenue generated as a result of that in terms of job creation and revenue for government. Just recently, as of this year, we enjoyed a 30% increase in tourist arrivals on average, especially in both the cruise tourism sector, as well as in overnight stay, with most guests staying as long as 7 days on average. We also enjoy an increase in airlift from the various source markets, especially the traditional source market of North America, where most of our tourists come from, increasing tourism arrivals from Canada as well. Currently, we are focused on trying to tap into the emerging markets of South America, also Europe and Asia. And we have several plans to effect this particular initiative. Coming up in November of this year, we'll be launching a small mini tourism conference. And this tourism conference will form a part of our tourism strategic planning exercise that actually started on Friday last, when I launched the tourism strategic planning exercise. And the conference will form the basis of which we bring stakeholders together of the industry so that we can shape, strengthen, and give direction in a sustainable manner to tourism in our destination. In this end, we'll be focusing on maintaining our status as what we call high-end tourism destination, but at the same time still catering to more sustainable means of tourism, such as ecotourism, event-based tourism in our island, where we come to immerse ourselves in the culture and heritage of our nation. And these are the things that we'll be focusing on, especially growing tourism in our family islands. Our main tourism island of Providenciales is where most of our bulk of our tourists come and stay, but we are working to get more of our tourists to visit our family islands, which have a lot to offer and form an important part of our tourism product. Currently, we are about to complete the expansion of our international airport, which will probably open sometime in late October, early November. And this international airport will facilitate increased airlift to our destination. And with that, we can then begin to plan and welcome even more investments in terms of room keys. Currently, we have a total of about 3,000 hotel rooms across the Turks and Caicos Islands. And we're hoping, with the expressions of interest in the various hotels that are in the pipeline to be built, we will expand to an additional 1,500 hotel rooms over the next 5 years. So this for us is looking quite good. But with that in mind, sustainability is also which we have to also focus on to ensure that we remain sustainable and competitive, not in this region alone, but also globally. So that's in brief of some of the things I've been working on in Turks and Caicos and where we are with regards to tourism and tourism development. And so I'll open the floor for any particular questions that you may have for me.
Your 30% increase, that's 2013-2014 season, and do you have that broken down by overnight tourists and cruise tourists?
Yes, they're about almost even. The cruise tourist is just slightly higher. I think we account for around 41%, and the overnight stay probably accounts for around 30, 35 or thereabout percent.
Can you be specific about new hotel developments? You said that there's some in the pipeline. Can you discuss any of them?
Yes, I can. I'll discuss the ones that have already been in the news and in the media. We currently in advanced stage of development of a new condo hotel called the Shore Club. And the Shore Club will bring close to probably in its full completion 150 rooms. We also have in the pipeline with development agreements to be signed for the development of a Ritz-Carlton brand hotel. It was originally the JW Marriott, but recently the brand name was changed to Ritz-Carlton brand hotel on Providenciales. Another hotel is the Third Turtle Resort, which was built on a site of one of the first hotels in the Turks in Providenciales. That Third Turtle Resort comes with a full-fledged hotel resort casino in Yachting Marina. And we also then have expressions of interest for other hotels such as the Westin brand and a few hotels in Family Islands on Grand Turk.
What happened to the reserve project
On West Caicos?
Yeah.
Yeah, the West Caicos Resort is still there as well. They've been having a slight setback. We're sure we can get over the hurdles and to facilitate them in moving forward, but it is still in the pipeline, still on stream. But they have a slight setback in terms of the progress of the development because they have to demolish everything that was there before and rebuild totally on a totally new design. And the cost projections was not as what they had realized.
Will it be a Ritz-Carlton?
No, it will not be a Ritz-Carlton. It will not be a Ritz-Carlton brand.
What has been the impact of the expansion of the beaches resort?
Well, I will say tremendous. Beaches is indeed a major player in our tourism industry, and whilst they do offer all-inclusive, we still consider beaches as being high-end in Turks and Caicos. And the acquisition of the additional property nearby and the labeling of that particular property that was purchased as I think it was awarded a 6-star. And it has been tremendous. The occupancy has been very, very high throughout the season. And last year, they had to close during the low season of September, October. But this year, with the support and the facilitation of the government, they maintain open throughout the slow season, and that has done well for the economy. Right now, there are several familiarization trips with tour operators and travel agents coming in and out of Turks and Caicos and seeing what beaches in Turks and Caicos have to offer. So it has a tremendous impact on our economy.
Why does the visitor from the United States select your destination over the others?
You know, we are over the others mean Caribbean or outside of the Caribbean? I'm sure most destination offers sea, sun, and sand. And we are Caribbean people, and I'm sure most of us have the same things to offer, but there are some similarities and lots of similarities, but some subtle differences. I know for one is that we do have very close proximity to the United States, and we have airlift from just about every major city on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Direct flights from Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, Boston, and going up into Canada, and some flights directly from Dallas as well, and working on additional flights from Chicago. So we have been focusing a lot on marketing, and what we also notice is that a lot of our guests are repeat. I don't know the statistics, but I'll venture to say, subject to correction, greater than 50% of our guests are repeat guests. And that goes to show that what they enjoy there is the hospitality and the service that are offered through the various resorts in those islands. And because whenever you see repeat guests, it means that they are satisfied with with their experience, what they're offered, and that goes with service. Because most places have sun, sea, and sand to experience, but they love what they see, feel, and experience.
You mentioned about the tapping into the emerging markets. What are the plans specifically? And you mentioned South America and Asia.
Well, we have some specific plans. I can say I'm not sure that I'm at liberty to say specifically which airlines, but we have been engaging a number of airlines in the South American market that service both Central America directly, and also airlines that service Brazil as Brazil-owned airlines or regional airlines. And so, and we are well advanced in talks in seeing actually direct flights from South America or Brazil into Turks and Caicos.
Can you comment on the Canadian market and whether there's additional flights for high season?
Yes, the Canadian market has been a growing market for us, and we are continuing to focus our efforts in the Canadian market. We are working with Air Canada at the moment, and looking forward to increase flight frequency and also expand flights into other cities in Canada. But I'm sure that will be available for the high season coming up in sometime early next year. That's the most I can say about that. But we have seen a significant increase in tourists, almost in line with the percentage increase overall in tourist arrival from the Canadian market. And I can say, because I've personally been on road trips to Canada and marketing Turks and Caicos, both in Canada and in the US. And all I can say is that the Canadians love us.
I do have to say anecdotally that I've been noticing that with people who are not in the industry, and I'm curious if you have any theories about that. As a Canadian writer, you guys are the new hotspot for so many Canadians, and do you have theories as to whether that's the advertising or because you're going to become part of us? Or
Well, I don't know. I mean, if it works. But again, I'll be in Canada later on this year, in sometime in November, and when I go back home, we will be debating our new immigration bill, and the immigration bill will be focusing on another initiative that will stimulate growth, and it will not be citizenship for sale, like in some of the other islands, but at least we will have investment, residency by investment, and so persons who wish to come and live and retire with us in Turks and Caicos can do so with ease, and invest and leave their money here in Turks and Caicos. And so we have that program in some form already in existence, but it will be strengthened through our immigration bill that will be hopefully passed in coming weeks.
What will be the minimum investment?
Currently, the minimum investment for one of the smaller islands is $500,000. But we're looking also to extending, and that was to build something, but we will probably expand that for the purchase. You don't have to build, but if you can also purchase. We started off the program with building because building helps to create more jobs in terms of construction. But we also noticed that if you can show that your actual investment in the purchase of a home could also do the same thing, because you're going to live there, and we're creating a new category called the home owner's permit, whereby even though you're not a citizen or a permanent resident, by the mere fact that you have a home owner's permit, you're permitted to come and stay for extended periods of time without having, not being free of immigration control, but without actually having to have the hassle of checking into the immigration. And so that homeowner's permit will go hand in hand with the persons being able to purchase a new home.
That include the opportunity to get a passport from the Turks and Caicos?
Well, that's the difficult part, because unlike the other countries that have citizenship for sale, we don't own our passports. Those are British passports. So that's the difference between independent countries and dependent countries. The passport is not ours. But indeed, if you were to become a permanent resident, what that will do is to put you on a pathway for citizenship, and so that is what that will do. Or pathway for naturalization, and after that, then because you actually become naturalized and become eligible for British citizenship long before you're eligible for Turks and Caicos status. Yes.
So you could get a British passport quite quickly if you came to Turks and Caicos and had enough cash.
I wouldn't put it that way, quite quickly, for fear of the British being worried. But you can get naturalized because as long as you have a permanent resident status, a few years or 5 years after becoming a permanent resident, you can apply for naturalization, which could entitle you to a British passport.
Can you give us an update on the status of your talks with the Canadian government? I know you all were out there a few months ago.
Updates on the talk of the Canadian government is we recognize there are several things that we decided that we will go away with. One, an acknowledgement of the letter from the Prime Minister, forming of a working group to look at areas of cooperation and collaboration. And we were more interested in the economic benefits that come to it first. And the working group will be looking at what economic benefits there is to both Canada and Turks and Caicos. We know that there is benefit to Canada so far because most of the companies that exist in Turks and Caicos are Canadian-owned companies, more so than the UK. I don't think there is any UK company in Turks and Caicos other than Lime, which formerly Cable and Wireless. But other than that, most of the banks, including the Canadian CIBC Bank, the Nova Scotia Bank, the Royal Bank of Canada, our power company Fortis, our hospitals Intel Canada, our hotels, and just about everything Canadian owned. And so we see that there needs to be some reciprocal relationship and some amount of trade balance that can go with economic relationship first and foremost. And we have lots of Canadians who love and work in Turks and Caicos. So that's the kind of relationship we're looking for first and foremost. And then any strengthening can take place from there.
It seems that the mixed condo hotel development has been the kind of the vanguard for Turks and Caicos growth in tourism and hospitality. Is that the model going forward? And is there any reason for that particular form of hospitality arrangement?
Well, the condo hotel model, I can say, has served us well. It enabled us to develop homegrown, high-end product. Homegrown because most of our hotels that are high-end are born and bred in Turks and Caicos. They're not name brand. They're not international recognized brand. So they have allowed them to provide that level of service. However, to a certain extent, the condo model is being threatened in terms of service by the owners who would like to probably rent their condos on VRBO-like sites rather than in the rental pool of the hotel that maintains the property. But we also find that in order for us to grow in terms of number of tourists, and to be able to cater for different kinds of tourism, like event-based tourism, where large groups, where you can block and book rooms in block, you need the EP hotel type model. And so we have been focusing of recent on developing the EP hotel type model, but our interest is really focusing on the high-end EP hotel type model predominantly, but not turning away the mid-range business type hotels, but the high-end, like the Ritz-Carlton, like the W, etc. And we hope that with conference type facilities, you can have blocking of rooms and booking of rooms to facilitate increase in tourist arrival like that.
Are there any further questions?
Well, no further questions. Thank you very much for your attention and for your questions. And you are indeed welcome to come to Turks and Caicos anytime. You should visit. Thank you.